a change on Club Cook. This week we're going to do something sweet. We're going to do a fruit crumble. Now, classic is apple crumble. You can make a crumble without any fruit you have, anything from the fruit bowl really. I've never made it with bananas, but I think that might work. So you can make it with fresh fruit or tinned fruit. So today I thought I'll do half and half. We'll do a brownie apple. Brownie apples are quite expensive out of season, so I would go for whatever's cheap, or tinned fruit is cheaper in the winter. But in the summer and the autumn, it's nice to use fresh apples. So we'll go for half and half, an apple and a tin of nice cheap peaches. I'll just start with the peaches, I think, actually. So we'll open those. We don't want all the juice in there for this, but don't throw the juice away. The juice from tinned fruit is lovely on yoghurt or with another pudding, maybe on some ice cream or pancakes or something. So just drain that. We'll pop those straight in a dish. Ready. Apple, we don't need to cook this first. Probably going to cut it quite small. Okay, so we just quarter it, and then I always just take out the cores like that and peel it with a knife, actually. Like that. You could peel it with a peeler if you have one, doesn't really matter. You need to take out those middles. Like that. And we cut fairly thin slices, and then I might just chop this in half too, because we want that to cook. The peaches obviously don't need to cook, but we want the apple to cook nicely. You can use eating apples. Maybe you've got a few left in the fruit bowl, and that's nice. But you need to. They stay a bit crisper, so chop them even finer, and then you'll get a nice cooked mixture. So we'll put the apple into the join of the peaches. Just going to put a little bit of sugar in there. The peaches, if you used all tinned fruit, you wouldn't need any sugar, but that's a cooking apple, so we'll just add a little bit of spoonful of sugar there. Tumble all of that together. Looks quite nice as it is, really. You can just eat that and you can drink it. We're going to do a hot crumble with it, not a fruit salad. Okay, so we're going to make the oaty crumble topping. Now you need about 250 grams of oats. I'm going to use. But I'm not going to weigh it. I'm going to just use a cup or a mug. So a mug is bigger than a cup. A cup measurement is like your granny's teacup. So a coffee cup is a bit bigger. So I fill it to about there. So 2.5 of those. And it's not an exact science. It doesn't really matter if you get a bit too much or a bit too much. Fine. So we've got the oats in there. We're going to add some melted butter, or I'm using margarine, which is or baking fat. It's known as. It's non-dairy. It's cheap, and it works really well for anything you're cooking. Now you want 100 grams. Any block of butter or margarine like that is 250 grams. So you can work out cutting that into 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each one will be 50 grams, and then 2 of those will be 100 grams. So actually, it's just a bit less than half of a pack of butter. So there we are. Get your scales out, but I just like to. Quite nice to practice your bit of homeschooling. So cut that into smaller bits, and we'll just microwave that to melt that down. Melted the butter or margarine in there. So that's the oats. It's just oats, butter, margarine, and golden syrup. Now, problem with golden syrup is getting it, if you have one of those tins, getting it out of the tin and measuring it. The recipe would say, I think 75 grams of golden syrup. That's quite difficult to weigh, but I'll show you an easier way. I mean, having one of these squeezy bottles is a bit easier, but get yourself a little jug or a cup of boiling water. Put your tablespoon in that, just for a few seconds. And then you can fill up your tablespoon or dip it into your tin if you've got a big tin. So that's one, and then that will just slide off the spoon. A little bit left, but sorry. Pop that in there again. And another one. Two. And another one. Three. There we are. Mix in your butter. Give that a really good mix. And that's how you want it. So it's just coated. It just sort of all looks a bit wet and coated with the syrup and the butter. Very nice. Now just get our fruit dish and just going to pile it on top. Just spread it over so it just covers all the fruit. Don't need to press it down or make it look particularly flat or anything. You just want to tuck the fruit under that little blanket of oats. There we are. Right, that goes in the oven. Again, a regular oven, sort of 160 or 170, fine, for about half an hour. Okay, so to go with the crumble, well, let's make some custard. Now you can buy custard. A lot of people buy it in tins or instant custard. A tin of custard costs about, well, probably £1 down to maybe 50p if it's a cheap supermarket. If you get a tub of custard powder, you can make gallons of it. Of custard. Costs you, even if you use sort of regular semi-skimmed milk, will cost you about 25p versus £1. So it's a lot cheaper, and you can make half quantity or a big quantity, and I'll show you how. It's really easy. You can do it in a saucepan. All we do, we take 2 tablespoons. This is going to make about a pint of custard, but that's quite a lot. 2 tablespoons of custard powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and to start with, 2 tablespoons of milk. And you can use any milk you want. This is oat milk, so it's a vegan alternative, but it would work with any skim milk, semi-skim milk, full cream milk, oat milk, soy milk. Don't use goat's milk though. If you might use goat's milk. If you cook goat's milk, if you boil goat's milk, it tastes like cheese. It's horrible. So nice thicky gooey mess at the moment. Look at that. But it's quite fun whisking custard powder because it does this weird thing of going really liquid and then you stop and it goes solid. So kids like that. So it just makes a thick liquid like that. And then we're going to add a pint of milk. that's about half a litre, a bit more than half a litre. Put that in the pan, stir that together, and then put that on the hob. Don't leave it, you do need to stir that. Bring it to a gentle simmer and then stir it. It'll start to thicken. That'll happen in a minute, and then just simmer it for a minute more so that it's nice and bubbly and thick. So that's ready now, it's nice and thick. I think you can see that with a spoon, it's quite sort of gloopy and thick. Quite good to taste it now, just to check it's sweet enough. That's a bit too sweet for me. Maybe 1 tablespoon of sugar would be enough, but nice and creamy and thick. Now put some into a nice jug to serve with our crumble. To just keep a little bit of it though, that's for the crumble. Another thing you can do if you've made a lot of custard, get some drinking chocolate, put a spoonful of that in, and you could just whisk this into the hot custard. That makes a lovely pudding with a chopped up banana. Really lovely, but I'm going to do something a bit special here, so it's not special at all, but here we are. We're going to just pour a little bit into some little pots. You could use little cups or little ice cream, washed out yogurt pots, petit falou pots or something like that. Wash those out, pop some of this in, and you've got a ready-made little pudding in the fridge, or as after school snack or something. Let those cool. Ideally you want to put a bit of cling film over the top, or just a saucer on the top with a lid, so, because you will get a custard skin, it'll set a little bit on the top, which some people don't like. But look at that, that's impressive, isn't it? Very easy. There we are, the crumble's had about 30 minutes now, and that's looking nice. Don't know if you can see, I can just see a little bit of juice bubbling up from the edge, which means it's nice and hot and cooked underneath. And it's got a little bit toasty on the top. I think that's quite nice. No harm in that. You could do it a little bit paler than that. So let's serve a bowl of that up. We've got lovely juicy fruit there. This would easily serve 6, I think, or 4 with some seconds. And put some custard on there. There we are. Everyone's school dinner favourite. And you've got your little chocolate pots as well for later.